Great morning, great people. How are y'all doing this morning? I hope you're having a fantastic start to your morning. Welcome to the message. I hope you're doing well, y'all. Today is Good Friday, so everything's going to be not just good, but great, okay? Everything's going to be not just good, but great. We are claiming that. We believe it. We receive it. Hold on, y'all. Let me get my life in order because I don't want that to mess y'all up. Okay, I'm back. Um, y'all, there's so much going on. I said, let me just I be trying to wait them last little 3-4 minutes, but then I just be sitting here talking to y'all anyway. So I say, why not just come over here and before we get started in numbers, okay, we're in the book of Numbers this morning. I was actually reading something else this morning. Oh no, that was yesterday, huh? Y'all, we are almost finished with the book of Numbers. So we on our way. We on our way. When will we finish this? We're doing 29 and 30 today. 1, 2, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So it looks like we'll be starting the book of Deuteronomy on Thursday of next week. We'll be starting Deuteronomy on Thursday of next week. So today, however, we are still in the book of Numbers. We're almost there, y'all. We're almost there. We're almost done. Today, we're going to be doing Numbers 29 and 30. 29 and 30. Y'all know we are on a mission committed to the cross. We are reading through the entire book of or the entire Bible, not even the book, the Bible, right? So we are in the book of Numbers, y'all. This is 4 books down. We started this in what? When did we start this, y'all? I think we started in January, if I'm not mistaken. I think we started in January. So we have gone through 4 books since January. So I receive it. Um, Yeah. This is the 4th one. So I believe we started in January. I don't remember. I know I started doing it this morning. I mean, in December. Good morning, Jared. Great morning. Y'all, when y'all come in, make sure that you drop something in the chat that you're grateful for this morning. Like the live, share the love. I have so much to tell y'all now because as things have been unfolding, the Lord is allowing me to release some things. And so I got a great story to tell y'all this morning. Y'all just okay. Because this thing, I got to keep y'all up to date on the story as the story is unfolding in my own life. So, the parts that the Lord is allowing me to share, I'm going to share with y'all. I'm grateful for new beginnings each day. Absolutely. And today, even for me, y'all, is a day of new beginnings. It's a day of new beginnings, and I don't even know, y'all. I was like, Lord, you're gonna have to show up in a mighty and miraculous way today, because baby, let me tell you, it's a lot. It's a lot that's happening. Look, I didn't charge my iPad, so it should be enough for me to do the prayer at the end. So y'all, it's a lot happening. The message this morning is I refuse. Okay, I refuse. The Lord gave me this yesterday. He gave me scripture to go with it. So, of course, we'll talk more about that after we get through Numbers 29 and 29 and 30. But the message this morning is I refuse. Okay, I refuse. So, just keep that in your spirituals. That's what we're going to be talking about today. I refuse. So I'll talk more about that after we finish. We're doing our Bible clarity. Because, baby, Padre God been on a mission. He has been on a mission to make sure that we are doing what he's asked us to do, child. Let me turn that off. Doing what he's asked us to do. He has, y'all, oh my gosh, I'm going to tell, well, I can go ahead and start telling y'all about this part. So I told y'all over the last about maybe 2 weeks, the Lord has had me moving around quite a bit. And I don't be understanding why the Lord takes me in a certain direction or why he does a certain thing. But then after it happens, he's like, okay, you did what you needed to do in that part. So this is why you had to do it. I kind of touched on that yesterday with the story I told about the experiences I've had. Y'all know that over this last year, I have been child, I've been so many places that I just can't even name. And so even here in California, he still had me traveling and moving to different places. I've spent almost the last week, y'all, in San Diego. and because I had something I had to do down there. And so I was in San Diego up until yesterday. I came back to LA yesterday, and it's another one of those moments, y'all, where the Lord said, "Do you trust me?" And I was like, "I got to, Lord, because there's nothing behind me, y'all. I don't have anything to go back to." And so I'll be completely transparent. I thought that I was going to be staying in San Diego, but it wasn't the trip to San Diego. It wasn't the location where I'm supposed to be, but I had to get some things going. And so Gemini energy, y'all, I do really, really well with short distance trips. I do well long distance as well, but Gemini energy, which I have heavily aspected in my chart, um I do well with short distance trips. I'm driving, I'm riding, the radio is off, so it's just me talking to the Lord, chopping it up with spirit and them, just receiving, listening, talking. And so that's what I do. Anytime I go to San Diego, I don't listen to the radio. I don't even know what the radio stations are, y'all, just being honest. Like I be zoned out, listening, receiving, talking, just chopping it up with the Lord. So kid y'all not, in that one little trip from LA to San Diego, so much transpired, y'all. So much happened, and so many messages came through, so much clarity. Is how he do is when the Lord said, "You finna do the message ministries." I was like, okay. So just different things that um I got just, and he was like, "Here, remember we talked about marching orders the other day. If you haven't watched marching orders, make sure that you go and watch that." The Lord gave me my marching orders, and a lot of it got set in motion just because of this trip that I took. Now, on the flip side of that, I'm thinking, you sending me back to San Diego again? Because he had just moved me to a different part of LA. Look, baggage. He had just sent me to a different part of LA. And I was like, "Lord, I know you ain't sending me back." But he was like, but I didn't understand it then. I literally told him, I was like, "Dad, I know you ain't sending me back over here." He was like, "Just go." I said, "All right." So I went. And so I spent the last few days down there. I got to see my daughter. Of course, I got to see her and the honeymoon. I got to see them. So that's always a plus when I go to San Diego to see my daughter. And so I saw her, and then I was gonna stay until today, but something yesterday was like, you got to go. And so I saw her and I was like, okay, I'm out, right? Um, but this is the thing, y'all. It was another one of those situations where, because I was in a part of San Diego where it's beautiful. If you've never been to San Diego, make sure if you go to La Jolla. I spent the last several days in La Jolla, sitting by the water, sitting at the beach, and it's beautiful, right? It's a beautiful part of town. I spent 7 years in San Diego and never really experienced it because I was in such a different mindset and different place when I was there. Till it's crazy. It really was my place of healing. But so but y'all, I kid you not, I had been there like 2 days because I didn't immediately even tell my daughter that I was there, or my dad. I didn't tell either one of them that I was there. I was there for a couple of days before I finally reached out and said something to them. And so when I found by the time I reached out to them, I was like, I'm not staying here. Like, I knew it. I got there, I think, on Saturday. By Monday, I was like, "Oh no, I'm finna go." I was like, "I'm finna go." It just wasn't resonating in my spirituals. It was beautiful, y'all. It's beautiful in La Jolla. It was amazing. I was like, "Oh, this is it." But I felt in my spirituals that it was not where I was supposed to be. But as always, the Lord had something that He had to show me. And it was also a test of my own obedience, as well, which was the test was yesterday. So I had some things that I had to experience down there. It gave me an opportunity to set some things in motion for what he's having me to do in this next season. And I was like, okay, bet. So I knew I had to go. So I saw my daughter, and she's doing great. I saw my dad. I was like, okay, I'm out. And so the thing about it was, it was a test of obedience for me yet again. Some of y'all know this story. As the Lord has sent me on multiple missions for things to do, I didn't realize until I was there that it was a mission as well. And we finna get ready to tap into numbers. Y'all like the stream, like the live, share the love. Drop something in the chat that you're grateful for this morning. I didn't realize that it was like an assignment. It was a mission that he had me on, why he sent me to San Diego. It was a test of obedience because yesterday, y'all, when the Lord told me to leave, I was like, well, Daddy, I was like, I just got here. I was like, I ain't got no money. I ain't got no food, no water, no nothing. And y'all know I share these with y'all because the Lord is always, he's like, listen, this is going to be a test of your faith. You can stay here. Y'all, I could have stayed in La Jolla. I could have, because what it is that he's asking me to do, come on, Wheel of Fortune, what it is that he's asking me to do, I could have done where I was. Good morning, Amanda. Good morning. Good morning. I could have done where I was. I could have stayed in La Jolla. It's beautiful. It's exactly what I'm looking for. It's the beach, it's the water, the sun, the sand, the waves. It's everything that I want, y'all. But it just wasn't feel. And I was like, well, I ain't really got, but y'all, I just wasn't feeling it. So the Lord said, here's your test. You can leave. Once again, Genesis 12, 1 through 3, y'all. Y'all know, if you've been rocking with me, especially for this last year, anytime the Lord gives me Genesis 12, 1 through 3, he's letting me know that it's time to shift. It's time to move. It's time to jump. It's time to go. It's time to level up, whatever the shift is. Traditionally, over this last year, it has always been him telling me I'm moving to a new location. Whether that was when I was in Dallas, I was in like 5 or 6 different parts of Dallas last year over the summer. Then I went to Austin. Then I was in San Antonio. Then I was back. Then I was in Phoenix. Then I was here. So all these different places, it's always, whenever I start seeing it, whenever I hear someone else talking about it, whenever it pops up on a message that I receive, whenever I start getting the number 1213, which is why 1213 is in the Oracle deck, the Angel Numbers Oracle deck, I'm like, okay, something's finna change. It's how the Lord lets me know that there's a change, inevitable change that has to happen. And so he was like, you can stay here, right, and do the thing that I've asked you to do, because what he asked me to do, I can do it in multiple places. He was like, but this is not what I have for you. This ain't it. I was like, okay. And so I sat on it and I prayed about it. And I was just like, you know what, Lord? I was like, I'm gone. And so I left yesterday, y'all. And I had a quarter tank of gas, no money, no food, no nothing but the vision that the Lord has given me, y'all. Some people, come on, God, some people would think that the way I move is erratic, or the way that I move doesn't make sense, but I move when the Lord tells me to move. And the Lord asked me again the other day, he said, will you drop everything that you have? Will you go to a new place, to a land that I will show you? Will you leave everything behind to follow me? And he did that last year, y'all. That's why I ended up going to Dallas in the first place. And so people may look at the way that I move, and when the Lord tells me, people might be like, she don't know what she doing. I don't really care. I don't know if people saying that or not, but I say this to say, no, y'all, the way my faith is set up in the Lord, if the Lord is giving me a choice, I'm like, no, because see, I've already done this. I've already been here. And I'm going to be honest, y'all, there's a lot of pain for me in San Diego, right? Because it was a time where I literally, like, the Lord took me all the way down. It just was, I'm not going to say it's not the most beautiful place in my spirituals. It's a beautiful place, and I'm so grateful for it. But I told the Lord I wanted a fresh start and a new beginning. And he said, well, go get it. And so I left again, y'all, everything. I was just like, this ain't the place I'm supposed to be. I learned my lesson. I did the assignment that he had me to do while I was down there. And he was like, now go and watch what happens. And y'all, you know, I be driving and I just be like, Lord, I was like, I don't know if you got everybody else or anyone else doing things this way, y'all. So that's how I refuse came up, because as I was driving yesterday, look at the declaration. I'm telling y'all, and come on, reclaiming power. As I was driving yesterday, and I can tell y'all this, and we've hit hop into numbers, and then we'll talk more about this with the message. All I kept seeing was the number 511, 511. Y'all, I couldn't, it was the whole time I was driving, it was just I was like, OMG, right? So I'm driving and I was like, okay, I'm not going to forget to look it up when I get to my destination, because I knew where to go. And so then it was like one point I was like, okay, I'm put these last $5 in the tank, and that's gonna get me to where because I was getting ready to stop in another place, and I heard Spirit and them say, is that where the Lord told you to go? That's not what we said. We said to go to this particular spot. And so I was just like, you know what, let me go to this spot where the Lord told me to go. I got to go to that spot, and that's it. And so that's what I did, y'all. That's what I did. And I kid y'all not, I got here right literally to the spot I'm at right now. And it was like as soon as I parked, because I went to the gym first, I was just like, I was like, I gotta wash the energy off. I was like, I gotta get myself together. Went to the gym. Then I was like, okay, let me go park and get myself together. And as soon as I parked, y'all, I got a message on my phone that's in alignment with something that the Lord has instructed me to do, which I'll tell y'all more about once I have more details about it. So anyway, all of this speaks to I refuse. Okay. I refuse, because the Lord said that I'm in a new season, wheel of fortune, and cycle of my life. And that is what I'm claiming. And that's what I'm receiving, right? Reclaiming power. We'll talk about that next week, because the Lord has already given me messages to talk about next week. So, oh, let's do it. Let's get to it. Y'all like the live, share the live, share the love. I tell y'all, come on, balloons, come on, freedom. The Lord really is testing our faith. He's testing to see if we're going to trust him and believe him to give us what we've been praying for, asking for, and I receive it. I receive it. So once again, it was one of those, are you going to leave everything behind and do what I'm asking you to do? Or are you going to answer the call? And so keep that in mind as we're continuing to read through the last few chapters of Numbers, and before we get ready to step into the message. Okay, so like the live, share, love, y'all. Let's talk about Numbers 29 and 30, because I'm excited to talk about the message as well, because it was a lot, and all of this came yesterday as I was driving back to LA. Okay, so offerings for the Festival of Trumpets. Offerings for the Festival of Trumpets. This is Numbers 29. Celebrate the Festival of Trumpets each year on the first day of the appointed month in early autumn. You must call an official day for holy assembly, and you may do no ordinary work. On that, oh, we didn't talk about this. So y'all know we just got, okay, this is important on this, because I went back and listened to this. Let me do this recap real quick. So yesterday we talked about Joshua was chosen to lead Israel. Okay, so I listened to some commentary on it last night on the Bible Project. Y'all know that's one of the apps that I use to kind of go and teach me as I'm learning. And so Joshua was put in place of Moses. The Lord told Moses to go up the mountain. You can see the land, but you're not going to enter the promised land. And then Moses interceded and said, well, at least give them a leader, right? At least give them someone who is going to lead them in the promised land. Now, unbeknownst, if we've been paying attention, the Lord had been preparing Joshua all this time. He had been with Moses in multiple places. He was with him when he went up the mountain. He was there. He was one of the ones who lifted Moses's arms up when he was like, as long as his arms were lifted, they were going to win the war. So he's kind of been there almost in the shadows, kind of the Lord been preparing him all this time, because of course, for I know the plans I have for you. So Joshua's always been around. So when Moses said, well, if I ain't gonna lead them, that's fine, at least send somebody to lead them, the Lord was like, go get Joshua, okay? And they pronounced it son of noon, of noon, not none, but whatevs. And so they've appointed Joshua, who has the spirit in him. He laid his hands on him, presented him to Eleazar the priest, and so they commissioned him. So now Joshua is going to be the one to lead them into the promised land. Now we're talking about the daily offerings, and then so that's where we left off yesterday. Okay, so all to do it. Okay, I'm back. Celebrate the Festival of Trumpets each year on the first day of the appointed month in early autumn. You must call an official day for holy assembly, and you may do no ordinary work. On that day, you must present a burnt offering as a pleasing aroma to the Lord. It will consist of one young bull, one ram, and 7 one-year-old male lambs, all with no defects. These must be accompanied by grain offerings of choice flour moistened with olive oil, 6 quarts with the bull, 4 quarts with the ram, and 2 quarts with each of the 7 lambs. Hold on, y'all. Let me switch this out because what? In addition, you must sacrifice a male goat as a sin offering to purify yourselves and make yourselves right with the Lord. These special sacrifices are in addition to your regular monthly and daily burnt offerings, and they must be given with their prescribed grain. Their grain offerings, and liquid offerings. These offerings are given as a special gift to the Lord, a pleasing aroma to him. Okay, offerings for the Day of Atonement. 10 days later, on the 10th day of the same month, you must call another holy assembly. On that day, the Day of Atonement, the people must go without food and must do no ordinary work. You must present a burnt offering as a pleasing aroma to the Lord. It will consist of 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 7 one-year-old male lambs, all with no defects. These offerings must be accompanied by the prescribed grain offerings of choice flour moistened with olive oil, 6 quarts of choice flour with the bull, 4 quarts of choice flour with the ram, and 2 quarts of choice flour with each of the 7 lambs. You must also sacrifice 1 male goat for a sin offering. This is in addition to the sin offering of atonement and the regular daily burnt offering with its grain offering and their accompanying liquid offerings. 5 days later, on the 15th day of the same month, you must call another holy assembly of all the people, and you may do no ordinary work on that day. It is the beginning of the Festival of Shelters, a 7-day festival to the Lord. On the first day of the festival, you must present a burnt offering as a special gift, a pleasing aroma to the Lord. It will consist of 13 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 one-year-old male lambs with no defects. Each of these offerings must be accompanied by a grain offering of choice flour, moistened with olive oil, 6 quarts for each of the 13 bulls, 4 quarts for each of the 2 rams, and 2 quarts for each of the 14 lambs. You must also sacrifice a male goat as a sin offering in addition to the regular burnt offerings with its accompanying grain offering and liquid offering. On the second day of this 7-day festival, sacrifice 12 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 one-year-old male lambs, all with no defects. Each of these offerings of bulls, rams, and lambs, I'm sorry, y'all, must be accompanied by its prescribed grain offering and liquid offering. You must also sacrifice a male goat as a sin offering in addition to the regular burnt offering with its accompanying grain offering and liquid offering. On the third day of the festival, sacrifice 11 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 one-year-old male lambs with no defects. Each of these offerings of bulls, rams, and lambs must be accompanied by its prescribed grain offerings and liquor offerings. Can I just tell y'all, they keep singing a song every time I say that, and I can't think of what the song is. It's something from the 80s. Are they saying like banana rama? I don't know. Y'all foolish. Okay, I'm back. You must also sacrifice a male goat as a sin offering in addition to the regular burnt offering with its accompanying grain offering and liquid offering. On the 4th day of the festival, sacrifice 10 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 one-year-old male lambs, all with no defects. Each of these offerings of bulls, rams, and lambs must be accompanied by its prescribed grain offering and liquid offering. You must also sacrifice a male goat as a sin offering in addition to the regular burnt offering with its accompanying grain offering and liquid offering. Y'all, OM to the G. On the 5th day of the festival, sacrifice 9 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 one-year-old male lambs, all with no defects. Each of these offerings of bulls, rams, and lambs must be accompanied by its prescribed grain offering and liquid offering. You must also sacrifice a male goat as a sin offering in addition to the regular burnt offering with its accompanying grain and liquid offering. On the 6th day of the festival, sacrifice 8 young bulls, 2 rams, and one-year-old male lambs, all with no defects. Each of these offerings of bulls, rams, and lambs must be accompanied by its prescribed grain offerings and liquid offerings. You must also sacrifice a male goat as a sin offering in addition to the regular burnt offering with its accompanying grain and liquid offering. On the 7th day of the festival, sacrifice 7 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 one-year-old male lambs, all with no defects. Each of these offerings of bulls, rams, and lambs must be accompanied by its prescribed grain offering and liquid offering. You must also sacrifice 1 male goat as a sin offering in addition to the regular burnt offering with its accompanying grain and liquid offering. On the 8th day of the festival, proclaim another holy day. You must do no ordinary work on that day. You must present a burnt offering as a special gift, a pleasing aroma to the Lord. It will consist of 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 7 one-year-old male lambs, all with no defects. Each of these offerings must be accompanied by its prescribed grain offering and liquid offering. You must also sacrifice 1 male goat as a sin offering in addition to the regular burnt offering with its accompanying grain and liquid offering. You must present these offerings to the Lord at your annual festivals. These are in addition to the sacrifices and offerings you present in connection with vows or as voluntary offerings, burnt offerings, grain offerings, liquid offerings, or peace offerings. So Moses gave all these instructions to the people of Israel as the Lord had commanded him. Let me drink some coffee because, listen, y'all. So 30 is not that long. Then we're going to hop into the message. Okay. So laws concerning vows. Then Moses summoned the leaders of the tribes of Israel and told them, this is what the Lord has commanded. A man who makes a vow to the Lord or makes a pledge under oath must never break it. He must do exactly what he said he would do. If a young woman makes a vow to the Lord or a pledge under oath while she is still living at her father's home, and her father hears of the vow or pledge and does not object to it, then all her vows and pledges will stand. But if her father refuses to let her fulfill the vow or pledge on that day he hears of it, then all her vows and pledges will become invalid. The Lord will forgive her because her father would not let her fulfill them. Now, suppose a young woman makes a vow or binds herself with an impulsive pledge and later marries. If her husband learns of her vow or pledge and does not object on the day he hears of it, her vows and pledges will stand. But if her husband refuses to accept her vow or impulsive pledge on that day he hears of it, he nullifies her commitments and the Lord will forgive her. If, however, a woman is a widow or is divorced, she must fulfill all her vows and pledges. But suppose a woman is married and living in her husband's home when she makes a vow or binds herself with a pledge. If her husband hears of it and does not object to it, her vow or pledge will stand. But if her husband refuses to accept it on that day he hears it, her vow or pledge will be nullified and the Lord will forgive her. So her husband may either confirm or nullify any vows or pledges she makes to deny herself. But if he does not object on the day he hears of it, then he is agreeing to all her vows and pledges. If he waits more than a day and then tries to nullify a vow or a pledge, he will be punished for her guilt. These are the regulations the Lord gave Moses concerning relationships between a man and his wife and between a father and a young daughter who still lives at home. The end. Okay, the end. We go full. We go full with bills, rams, and lambs. I'm talking about, listen, the end. Okay, the end, y'all. That is it. OMG. the Lord, Daddy, you know my heart. He got to know, baby. We may go through this Bible again, but Leviticus and Numbers, OMG, this some hard reading. This some hard reading. I tell you, it's some hard reading, but we are faithful. We are diligent. We gonna be consistent. And so we gonna read it. We gonna skip them names and stuff because ain't nobody got time for that. But we gonna do what we have to do. Okay, so on to do it, y'all. Like the live, share the live, share the love. Thank y'all so much for tapping in for the message this morning. So let's talk about it. Okay. So, like I said, y'all, the Lord said when I told you, y'all, He's been giving this to me as well, but He's just been telling me to kind of share it in bits and pieces. So, and a lot of the messages, y'all, I tell y'all in real life, in real time. Good morning, Just Be You. Good morning, Jamila. Y'all drop something in the chat you're grateful for this morning. We are getting in the flow of abundance on this good and great Friday. Good and great Friday. We're not just gonna call it good, we're gonna call it great. So as he's unfolding things in my own life and as he releases me, of course, to tell y'all about different stuff, that's what I'm doing. So the message this morning is I refuse. Y'all drop that in the chat. I refuse, right? I refuse. Whether you see this on the replay, whether you're here in live this morning, I refuse. Okay, I refuse. What are we refusing? So I told y'all yesterday it could have been very easy for me to stay where I was. He had sent me to San Diego. He showed me something that was just like, oh man, this is great. It has everything I'm looking for. It has everything I want, but it wasn't sitting right in my spirituals, right? And so I was like, okay. And while I was in San Diego, I had a lot of time to think, y'all, because it was like taking a vacation. It was a vacation. It was me going to a different place, kind of removing myself from the environment here in LA for a second. And it gave me some time to think. But what also happened in that time, y'all, we had the full moon in Libra that just happened the other day, which was also an eclipse, right? We had an eclipse the other day. And so I didn't know about the eclipse until after the fact, afterwards, right? But it started making sense to me as I did some more research on it and was like, oh, okay. So that's what a lot of this is what was happening. So this trip to San Diego for me was yes, it was to see my daughter, but more than anything, it was to cut cords, it was to release things, it was to release the heartbreak, the disappointment, the pain, relationships as well. There were things that were let go of for me when I went to San Diego. And so I was like, okay, Lord, I received that. So as I was driving back yesterday, the Lord said, what you gonna do? And I was like, Daddy, I'm gone. And so I left, y'all. I left. And it's just like, I tell you, and I would never tell anyone else to do this, but my faith is set up so different, y'all. Because the Lord has sustained me in this last year, and I've shared this with y'all. Let me tell you a couple of ways that the enemy was trying to get me, right? Y'all remember for the last couple of months that I was getting food stamps and that they were stolen. They were stolen for February and they were stolen for March. So what ended up happening was I'm here in LA. So I finally called this month because I was like, I'm not gonna let them steal these again. Message. I called this month. And so at the beginning of the month, and so they were like, okay, that's fine. They canceled the card I had. I was able to add my daughter on there so that she could go pick up a card. So this is a lot of this is it's like refuse. I refuse. Just keep this in mind. I refuse. You know how we read about Moses and the Lord told him in the beginning, he said, do this. But the next time he said, do something else. This is one of the things that disqualified Moses from the promised land. And y'all, I kid y'all not, as I was sitting there and I was sitting in San Diego, it was almost like the enemy was trying to tell me, because I told my daughter, I gave that blessing to my daughter. Y'all, my daughter's working 2 jobs, right? She's working 2 jobs to try to keep herself, you know what I'm saying? Keep her. She has it. She's doing well. She's doing fantastic. She's doing such an amazing job with her life. But I'm also working so diligently to create a different type of life so that she doesn't have the same struggle. And so instead of me going, because I when I told her to pick up the card, I said, go get you some groceries. And y'all, come on, God. My daughter was so thankful because she was like, Ma, you don't know how much that helps me, because she's using the money from her 2 jobs to make it, y'all, to just to, and she was like, and food is expensive. So I even told her, I was like, well, get you some groceries, because they replaced them. I was like, get you some groceries. I said, and go and take your grandpa, my dad, and get him a couple dollars worth of food, get him a couple dollars worth of groceries as well. And so when I got down there, the enemy was like, you know, you're supposed to get that card from her. And I was like, that ain't what God told me. The Lord didn't tell me that. How do I know that the Lord didn't tell me that? Because the Lord told me that He is my source and my resource. He didn't tell me to do that. And so it was just a multitude of things, y'all, that I was just like, no, that ain't, no, no, no. And so I was like, I refuse to do that. I refuse to, come on. This was the beginning of my refusal, y'all. I was like, I refuse to do anything. Look, this me crossing my arms like, I refuse to do anything that the Lord didn't tell me to do. Message. I refuse to not follow the Lord's instructions, because I ain't got time to be messing up my promise. Like, that ain't what God said. God said I wasn't supposed to get them anymore. He told me that I was free from using that kind of assistance because He was my source and my refill. I was like, I refuse. So that was the first thing. So I was like, I ain't doing that. Then it was something else. It was another part of my journey, of my assignment that the Lord has me on. And I told y'all yesterday the story. Like, I ended up having a conversation, and I was like, I refuse. Y'all, this was me the last 3 days. I was like, I refuse to believe that. That ain't what the Lord told me. That is not what He said. I'm having a whole conversation and someone trying to convince me that what I'm doing is not. I refuse to believe that, because I know what the Lord said to me. I know what the Lord told me to do. I refuse. And that's why I started feeling like, I started feeling it on Monday, like I ain't supposed to be here. Like, this ain't it. I'm not supposed to be here. This something ain't right. And I was like, So then, y'all, over the last few days, everything was just refused. I was like, I don't believe that. Nope, you ain't gonna make me believe it. Nope, I'm not doing that. It was everything that was felt like it was trying to pull me back into things that I have been delivered from. Like, the Lord told me I wasn't supposed to have these benefits because I was done with that season of life, because He was getting ready to show me better. So nope, I'm not going to do that. I refuse to believe that that's what I'm supposed to be doing. So it was just a multitude of things, y'all. And so as I was driving yesterday, I was like, and even down there, I had to put something in place to, you know what I'm saying, to start working on something. And then I started getting denials. Good morning, Shankay. Good morning. I started getting denials on stuff. And I was like, I refuse to let this stop me, because I know that this is what the Lord told me to do. And so as I was driving yesterday, and the Lord was like, that's what you're going to talk about tomorrow. You're going to talk about how everything's been happening to try to make you forfeit this promise. And so then He started showing me 511, 511. Y'all, seemed like everything I looked at, the number 511 was there. And so and I was like, well, I'm gonna look it up when I stop. And so when I finally got back, He sent me to James 5:11. And it says, we give great honor to those who endure under suffering, For instance, you know about Job, a man of great endurance. You can see how the Lord was kind to him at the end, for the Lord is full of tenderness and mercy. Y'all, I couldn't believe it. When I saw that, when I saw that yesterday, y'all, I was driving and I was like, because part of me, I was like, Lord, I was like, you done sent me on this journey. I was like, I barely got enough gas to get there. I ain't got no money, no this, no that. He was like, but do you realize the faith that you have in me? Come on, God. Do you realize the faith that you have in me? Y'all, the Lord has told me to do things that do not make sense. And most people would look at like the way that I move and the things that when the Lord tells me to do something, y'all, I don't even question it. I just do it. I just go. He said, you're going to make it to where I'm sending you to. You are going to make it back to LA. I need you to trust, and everything else will be given unto you when you get there. So just trust, believe that I'm going to get you there. You have enough gas to get there. Don't worry about where the gas is going to come from tomorrow. And I was like, Lord, Daddy, I ain't got nothing but a can of this me. I was like, Dad, I ain't got nothing but a can of tuna. And he was like, guess what? That's what you gonna eat today. You still got food. You got some crackers. So I'm driving, y'all. And I be driving. Told y'all I be driving and I be like, man, this seemed crazy. Like, Daddy, this don't even make sense. But I share this with y'all because again, he's allowing me to share the journey of him, of me becoming who I am. See, most people are not giving they're not showing you the steps of how you got to have unwavering faith. They don't talk about the difficulties. It's like we want to say pray about it, but y'all, he's not allowing me to suffer and not show y'all both sides of what I'm going through. I talk about the blessings, but I got to talk about how he's still doing a work on me as well, because I'm not perfect. And so as I'm driving yesterday, and I was just like, okay, Lord, I just trust you. You said I'm gonna make it. Fine, I'm gonna make it. Boom. I was like, let me find a gym. So I go to the gym, take a shower, get myself together. Because I was like, I ain't even gonna shower while I'm in again. I ain't even gonna go to Planet Fitness again while I'm in San Diego. I just wait till I get back to LA. And so I was like, cool. So I drove. And then as soon as I got here, I was like, okay, let me go to the gym real quick. So I did that. So I was like, so then I got to where I'm sitting right now, y'all. And I just sat here for a second. And it hit me right at that moment how much I was releasing in this time. How I really am beginning a new cycle of life. True story, y'all. So when he gave me that scripture, he gave me that number. As I sat here yesterday and I was just like, I refuse. I refuse to lose. I refuse to quit. I refuse to worry. I refuse to doubt. I refuse to give up. I refuse to be fearful. I refuse to lose faith. I refuse to let the difficulties and the challenges scare me. I refuse to live in fear. I refuse to not pursue my dreams. I refuse to give my power away to anyone or anything. I refuse to lose myself. I refuse to stop believing in my dreams. I refuse to stop moving forward. I refuse to stop caring. I refuse to stop creating goals. I refuse to be broke another day in my life. I refuse to keep hurting. I refuse to be ashamed. I refuse to not make progress. I just started writing things, y'all. I refuse that. I refuse it and I rebuke it in the name of Jesus. I refuse it. And I sat down and I just started writing things. I refuse that. I refuse. I refuse to lose in this season. Y'all, I've gone through too much, too many trials, too many tribulations, too many challenges, too many difficulties I refuse. Y'all, when I tell y'all I refuse to quit, quit ain't never been in in my mindset. I feel like one of the things that the Lord has taught me over the last year, or over the last 7 years, because y'all know I lost my nursing license 7 years ago. Okay. I lost my nursing license 7 years ago. So these last 7 years have been all about me rebuilding myself. I've gone through nothing but healing in these last 7 years. And so, as the Lord has been talking to me about restoration, and he it's crazy because some people would look at the things that I do, y'all, and be like, hey, my honey, what you doing? Hey, my niece, booski booski. And so I want y'all to drop something this morning in the chat that you're great, that you refuse. What are you refusing in your life? I refuse to let the enemy win. I refuse to let him stop me, y'all, because there's nothing behind me. I don't have, there's nothing for me in San Diego, y'all. My daughter's there, and so I don't mean it in that respect, but there's nothing for me there. When I go back into San Diego, it's pain. It reminds me of failed relationships. It reminds me of my failures. And even in conversation, it reminds me of my failures. And I refuse to let anybody. I don't care. I almost said a cuss word, didn't it? I did, because Daddy, you heard me in the spirituals. I refuse to let somebody keep reminding me of who I used to be. Y'all, I'm just not that person anymore. And I realized that that was something that happened the other day. And don't get it twisted, y'all. I say what I want to say because this is my truth. And this is no shade on anybody. I don't care if you are family. You are not going to make me keep trying to throw stuff up in my face to remind me of my failures. You're not going to do that, because you know what? I've healed from it. The Lord has healed me from those failures. He has promised me restoration. So I'm not going to put myself in a position, in a place, in a location where I'm constantly reminded of why I was there in the first place. I moved to San Diego because I failed, because I lost my nursing license. I'm no longer in that season of my life, y'all. I'm no longer in a season of failure. I have moved from struggle to success. And so we have to look at our own lives. When the Lord talked to me about this yesterday, and I was like, I refuse to let people try to shame me about something that I did 7 years ago, 10 years ago. Child, I'm not that same. I am not that person. You're not gonna make me feel, people can't make me feel any type of way about that. So anyway, fast forward through all of that. I get here yesterday and I'm writing. I was like, man, I refuse. I refuse to lose. I refuse to give up. I don't know how nothing's gonna work out. I don't know how things are gonna go, but I refuse to give up my faith. I said, Lord, you said if I go and I do what you asked me to do, if I continue to be faithful and trust in you, that you are going to make a way out of no way. Y'all, I sat here and I parked, and no sooner than I parked, come on, 808, no sooner than I parked, y'all, I got a notification on my phone, a message from something that I'm pursuing, something that the Lord has instructed me to do. And I had a moment yesterday, y'all, because one thing about, y'all don't know this, but one of the things, y'all have the opportunity to see the touche who is not afraid to cry, who's not afraid to say, man, I ain't got nothing and I need help. Y'all see the touche who is vulnerable, who is transparent, who's not bottling up my emotions or my feelings. I'm not an overly emotional kind of person, but I spent so much time in the last 20 years of my life where I would just hold, I wouldn't say anything. I would just suffer in silence. I was just, and but it's like, I'm not that person anymore. And I'm also here to let people know, like, look, yo, it's okay to cry. It's okay to feel some type of way. There's some of us who have to be strong because we can't afford to be weak. And so we look at those moments of vulnerability as weakness, but I look at them as strength. I feel like vulnerability is a strength and not a weakness, because in the past didn't nobody know how I was feeling. Y'all, I was so detached from my heart. This is why my nursing license didn't last the first time. You understand? Because I was so detached from my heart that I wasn't leading with compassion. That's how I got addicted to drugs, because I wasn't doing what I was supposed to. I wasn't leading with my heart. I'm a Leo. It's in me to be passionate, to be caring. And so I was doing the profession, but I wasn't doing it with my heart. Does that make sense? And so I told the Lord, I said, I refuse in this season, as he's building the Message Ministries, which is something that he told me on this drive to San Diego. He was like, so this is something that requires me to be transparent and vulnerable. And so I had a moment where and after I finished getting this information yesterday, I had a moment. I sat here and I cried, because I was just like, OMG, you know what I'm saying? I was like, Lord, is this real? Like, sometimes you feel like you don't want to get your hopes or your expectations too high. And the Lord checked me on that. He was like, didn't I tell you that I was restoring you in this season? Did not tell, get your hopes high. You should have great, expansive hope, because if you've gone through so much struggle, y'all, the Lord is not going to leave you in struggle. He is going to move us from struggle to success. And so over this last couple of days, y'all, with this full moon energy, when I tell y'all so many things have been released in my life, I'm just like, Lord, just stay with me. That's the only thing I could say. But I also just realized how many endings, the end of stagnation. Somebody just said, hey, Christina, the end of stagnation. I was like, I don't have time to play around. Y'all, I got here yesterday, and most people, and this, I can't make this up. First thing, I don't care. I don't know. And I don't care what anybody thinks. I say, well, Lord, if you giving me a fresh start, which we're going to talk about next week on the 1st, I say, Lord, if you giving me a fresh start, let me do everything I can in order to help myself, because I refuse to continue to live in this car. Do you understand? Like, y'all, my refusal runs deep. There's no way that I refuse to be complacent about the life that I'm living. Because the Lord told me that there is more. So I say, well, Lord, since you told me there's more, let me do what I can. I started putting in job applications yesterday. I started applying for stuff. I don't care. I'm applying. Yep, I'll go back to work. I will do whatever is necessary to take care of myself. That's not going to stop this ministry. That's not going to stop me from giving these messages. If I have to adjust the time, I will adjust the time. Because I am in a new season, y'all. And this season does not include us being in the same place and doing the same things. Hey, Gigi. Hey, girl. Hey, it does not include us being in the same position or doing the same things. And so one of the biggest things that I had to deal with, I would be like, Daddy, you told me not to go to work. No, he told me not to go to work in my wilderness season, because I had to depend on him. But see, now yesterday, what he told me when he gave me James 5:11, he said, you've endured the suffering. You've endured no matter what was thrown at me, y'all. I didn't have a choice but to keep going. And sometimes you just there's nothing backwards for me. There's nothing back there, y'all. I have to keep moving forward. I have to keep my eyes on the Lord, because he's all I have in this season. He is, and y'all, I cannot explain to y'all how much the Lord has been my source and my resource in this entire journey, y'all, especially the last year, when I truly have been dedicated to serving him. And so I say, well, Lord, whatever I need to do, I'll do it and he was like, now, because I've been praying for stability. I'm like, Daddy, I'm tired of moving around, but I'll keep moving if you tell me to go. If you tell me to keep going, I'm going to keep going. If you tell me to keep moving, I'm going to keep moving until you're ready to put me down somewhere. But I say, Daddy, I'm tired. I say, I'm tired. And so he was like, don't worry. That's when I tell y'all, man, the Lord been carrying me, y'all. He's been carrying me through this entire journey. People really do not understand the mindset that it takes when you go, everybody going through something. Please do not misunderstand me. Everybody's going through something. There are people who are going through worse things than me. But I say, Lord, this is as bad as it's ever been for me in my life. I thought it was bad when I lost my nursing license. I didn't know bad until this season. You understand? Until this last year, I've never been homeless. So this is the worst it's ever been for me in my life. But I guarantee you this, I will never in my life be in this season again. I will never be in this season again. The Lord has showed me he has humbled me. He has humbled me. And you best to believe the lessons that I have learned in this season, y'all. The lessons I have learned in this season, not taking care of myself, not taking care of my health, not managing my money wisely, attaching myself to toxic relationships and people, giving more to the negative situations, the negative thinking. Y'all have no idea how much the Lord has transformed me in this season. And so as he was talking to me about that yesterday, I say, well, Lord, all I could do is be grateful. All I could do was be grateful, y'all, because I tell you, if people knew who I used to be, Lord, if people knew who I used to be, I said to the Lord yesterday, I say, Daddy, I'm so grateful because this kind of struggle, I went into depression, y'all, because my mom died. Okay. When my mama died 2 days before my birthday back in 2007, that's when I went into depression. Okay. Listen, this is why I be having to tell the Lord, thank you, Lord, because you understand that there's people who have it worse than me. Like this is bad for people who looking at me. Yeah, this is bad. This looks bad to you. Wait, she live in her car. Yep, this is where the Lord had to put me in order to make sure I was going to be a good steward with my resources. So yes, because he had to humble me in the areas where I was not taking care of myself, y'all. But even in this situation, even in this season, he still allowed me to show up and be a blessing to other people. And then I see something like this, like people dying from cancer and disease, and I'm just like, and my health is relatively good, other than high blood pressure. I didn't have to manage that sitting in the car. I didn't have to make sure I'm not getting blood clots. I got to get up and walk, y'all, because I'm in the car all the time. My ankles be swollen, but I'm grateful because compared to other people's problems, that's nothing. This is nothing. And so when we were talking, I was talking to the Lord yesterday, and I was just like, man, I refuse to give up. I refuse to let this be my end. I refuse. And the Lord said, and that's why I'm restoring you. Grateful because you're making it out of the tunnel. You've been following the light, and the end of the tunnel is in sight. Thank you so much, dearest one. It is, y'all. It is. When the Lord, and this is not just for me, y'all. This is for all of us as we're going on this journey, as we are walking with the Lord. He is the light at the end of our tunnel. But the problem was I didn't have tunnel vision. They say it's not good to have tunnel vision. No, I got to have tunnel vision right now because I got to keep my eyes on the Lord. I don't have time for anything else. No distractions, nothing. I don't have time. I do not. I have got because if I don't, y'all, then that's that. When I didn't keep my eyes on the Lord, that's how I got distracted. That's how I went and did stuff that I wasn't supposed to do. I tell y'all that we stay in our wilderness until we learn the lessons. I had to go through some more things in the wilderness to learn the lesson. And until I learned it, I had to stay. But as long as I keep my eyes focused on the Lord, he's like, okay, keep coming this way. It's like an air traffic controller. He's like, come on, keep coming this way. And now he's like, okay, so I'm not even to where he's taking me yet. And neither are you. We ain't there yet, but we getting there because we're keeping our eyes on him. The more time we spend reading the Bible, y'all, the more time we spend on this live and just talking about the Lord and just glorifying his goodness and just allowing him to be in the place, y'all, the better our lives continue to get. I'm not where I'm going, but going in the direction to get there. And so I'm grateful for that. Hey, Ma. So I tell y'all, like, the way my faith is set up, y'all, the way my faith is set up, I know that everything that I need in this season is going to be provided. How is it? I don't know. I don't know. but we getting there. I don't know. I never, and one thing about it is I've told y'all, and I cannot say what anyone else's journey is like, but I tell you, I'm so grateful that he allows me to show y'all every step of this as I make an advancement, as he puts me in a new mindset and new energy, as things get better, y'all. He's just like, see, look at what we overcame. Look at what you did. Look at, this is why I be like, y'all, we in the flow of abundance. Like, man, I'm grateful. When I tell y'all like gratitude, I just be like, I'm grateful. I have my moment, but I just think about how many things the Lord delivered me from. Had it when it was this bad last time, which is almost equivalent to my mama dying, y'all. It was like that's when I turned to drugs and alcohol, and that's when I got like messed up in the game, right? And this time, all I did was turn to the Lord. That's it. No drugs, no alcohol, no none of that. I just be like, okay, Lord. And so he is the vice that I use in place of using the things that I used in the last season, which set me up for that last 7-year cycle. And so anyway, that's the message. That's what he wanted me to share for today, y'all. We refuse. We are not staying stagnant. We are not staying stuck. And I tell y'all spend some time this weekend, like really thinking, like, what are we letting go of so that we can step into this new season? April 1st, I believe, is on Monday. It's like I'm just like, Daddy, all new everything. I need all new everything. I don't know where it's gonna come from, but I trust you for it. You told me to come where I'm at. Okay, Lord, I'm here. Whatever it is that you need me to do, I will do. If it's going back to work, if y'all know anyone who's hiring, let me know. Like, I don't care what it takes, y'all. Now that I am where I know he wants me to be, at least for this season, I will do whatever it's take, because this ain't it. And that's all I be telling the Lord. I was like, Daddy, I know I told my sister this the other day. I was like, Daddy, you said you have more for me. This ain't it. This can't be it. This is not it. This is not it. This is not it. What do I need to get? I was like, what do I need to do? This is not a lack of faith, because for a long time the Lord had to work on me, y'all, because I was like, well, but the reason he wouldn't allow any jobs to come through at that time was because I wasn't where I was supposed to be. And so now he's like, you finna be settled for a second because you have an assignment where you are. And so I was like, okay. So I was like, let me find something to do. Let me go to work. How can I use this insurance license? Like, I'm just like, Lord, show me what it is. And I was like, because listen, one thing that I've always done is worked. That's one thing that I ain't never been afraid of, is work. So Daddy, how can I improve my life? What can I do? That's not gonna stop my businesses. That's not gonna stop me from doing anything. But we trying to make money while we sleep. So whatever I need to do, and I have things that I want to do in my businesses that I hadn't been able to do because I hadn't been stable enough in order to really do that and to invest in my, like, Chasa, you got to do what you can do until you can do what you want. That's the type of energy that I'm on. You got to do what you have to do until you can do what you want to do. So anyway, that's the message for today. Y'all make sure that you take some time this weekend and just think about what are you refusing in this season. We refuse to lose. We refuse not to step into the promised land. Like, I'm not gonna miss my promise. I missed it before. I'm not missing it again. And so just think about that. Just start telling yourself, like, oh no, I refuse to give up. I refuse to stay stuck. I refuse to stay in negative thinking. I refuse to be broke another day in my life. I refuse. That cycle is over. It is done. We are releasing it with love, light, and healing energy. But we are moving on, y'all. We are moving forward. We are moving into a new season. So whatever it takes for us in this season, come on, telephone. We take that. I take community. I'm listen, telling y'all, whatever is necessary in order for this season to be successful, because it won't be like the last season. Is it going to be easy? No. You still gonna have to do the work. You still gonna have to do the time. You still gonna have to show up and be consistent and be dedicated. Come on, the hot air balloons. But we're ascending, y'all. We're moving into a new season. This is ascending. This is uplifting freedom, going with the flow, elevated, feeling good on this Good Friday. Okay, continuous flow. This is ascension, and that's what we're doing, y'all. We're ascending. Come on, Team Leo, right? We talked about Leo energy. Like, I refuse. I refuse. I'm talking about tell him what you want. I'm trying to told you, tell him what you want. And I didn't told him. And so look, the shooting star, all of these cards are coming up on the cut, y'all. Like, this is my time to shine. This is your time to shine. Drop that in the chat. This is my time to shine. This is my time to be the star that I am meant to be. Didn't Genesis 12, 1 through 3, doesn't it say, I'll make you famous? So whatever, fame doesn't have to mean being on a big stage or being a celebrity. Fame can simply make you famous is simply you leaving and creating an impact with, like, creating generational wealth, whatever that is for you, a wish being granted, bedazzled, something suddenly. Yes, come on, come through suddenly. Thank you, Lord, for suddenly blessings, right? This is a suddenly season. Okay, this is my time to shine. This is it, y'all. No, but come on, Lord. I can't get him. Did somebody say get him on the main line and tell him what you want? Did somebody say get him on? Come on, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. We receive it. Did somebody say get him on the main line? Down for the cause, letting go, surrender for the greater good. I can't make it up, y'all. Like, telling you, and he meant what he said. And so I just believe him for it. Come on, the pearl, wisdom, opening up. Tell y'all, I just believe him for what he said he's going to do, because that was the promise that we received. Like, I can't even make it up, y'all. So that's it. That's the message for today. Lord, I hope this helps somebody. I want y'all to just know, y'all, we in a different season. I've been getting the number 826 so much. And I don't even remember what it took me to, but over the last few days, I've been getting the number 826 quite a bit. So I'm going to have to do some research on it, because it keeps on coming up. Because there's definitely something I need to know about that, because it's keep on coming. Look, there it goes right there. And what did I write? Today is an amazing day. And great and amazing things are going to, prayer changes things. So let me look that up. I'll have to do some research and see what that's about. Anyway. That's it. That's it. Lord, I hope this helps somebody, y'all. I'd be so grateful when the Lord allows me to share, and that he's allowing y'all to share in this journey with me. Because it's a journey, y'all. It is a journey. So I thank y'all for tapping in, tuning in. I thank you so much for your support. Thank y'all so much. 826 is the most powerful day of the year. What day is it? I have no idea. Man, I've been getting that number so much. Like, it's been a lot. And 88 is actually, I got the number 808 as well. 88 Lionsgate. I know that's another powerful day. So thank you for that, dearest one. Y'all, look, we're going in the right direction. Crazy thing is, I literally saw a car that looked just like this when I was in San Diego the other day, and it reminded me of this card. I was like, oh, that card looked like this, the car that's on my card, and it literally looked just like that. So we're moving in the right direction. 66, going down a new path. Okay. 726 happens to be my birthday. Period. 726 is definitely my birthday. That's my birthday. So it surely is. Yes, that is my birthday. So we know that is the right day. Anyway, that's it, y'all. I want y'all to have a great and amazing weekend. Of course, we'll be back. We'll be doing Sunday spirituality on Sunday. We're going to do 7 cards, 7 days. I'm actually going to pull some tarot. Y'all know that with the way the Lord has this set up now, is I'm not doing the actual spreads throughout the week. Come on, Fairy Tale. I'm not doing the cards other than just kind of pulling like I did. But on Sunday, I'll actually be doing a full, like, we'll see what's going on, and I'll pull some cards for the week and see what we have going on for the week. So that's it, y'all. hydrate your soul and things, drink your water, say your gratitude, have a fantastic and amazing weekend in purpose and on purpose. And that's it, y'all. We stepping into April with all new energy, all new everything. And that's it. We refuse to not step into this new season and this new cycle. Okay. I love y'all in real life. And I will see y'all on Sunday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Okay. Love y'all. 3 p.m. on Sundays, 3 p.m. on Sundays. That's the only afternoon live that I really do, because normally I'm on here Monday in the mornings, but I'm gonna do those at 3 p.m. I'm gonna keep it at 3 p.m. That's what time we've been doing those. So Sundays at 3 p.m. Okay. Love y'all in real life. Go be great and amazing. I'll see y'all on Sunday. Y'all make sure y'all like the live, share the love, and continue to be in an attitude of gratitude today. Okay. Love y'all in real life.